So, how does it feel to be watched all the time? I mean, seriously, as somebody who grew up in the 80s and 90s, eating Wheaties and watching Saturday morning cartoons, we didn't have any smart devices in our homes. Most of the Gen Z group has grown up with these things, basically cameras in their face from the time they were born. My kids included. I'm guilty. I've got so many videos and pictures, but there was a transition around 2008 or 9 when all the early videos of my son, who is now 13, just turned 13, they were all recorded on a high 8 digital recorder or a mini DV recorder, which have the little tapes. It was only after that digital got good enough to keep up, and we could buy regular cameras and now take millions of pictures of every kid. But every kid who grew up from, say, the year 2000 and on has just a plethora of pictures and photographs, videos, everything you can imagine about their lives. Some parents even put it online. And something a lot of you know, that even though I've made, 4,500 videos, I have very, very rarely ever put my kids on the internet. I'm not ever going to, put my kids online just so I can, use them to get views for something. It's disgusting to me. The family vlog channels, I think that they're doing a huge injustice to their kids, because over the years their kids are going to grow up in a new world. Everything is going to be scanned and recorded by AI. As soon as behaviors are understood, then every kid's going to be known, like what they like. I mean, these poor kids these days are going to be marketed to for the rest of their lives, and maybe that'll be a good thing. I don't know. From what I've seen so far, the quote targeted commercials I get are completely off the mark. I mean, I constantly get clothing commercials and stuff. It's like, I don't buy clothes, man. I go to Goodwill. I'm not, they just don't get it. They haven't figured it out. But once AI can sort through people's lives, it's scary to think what's going to be known. Every time I go to the grocery store to get the discounts I need, sure, I scan my club card, which you don't always need, but in the case of wanting to get the right discount, you do. I enter that number, I buy my beer, right? That gets scanned in along with it. Health insurance companies buy your shopping record. They figure out what you drink or what you eat, and they can determine your health care based on your history. That is nothing compared to what's going to happen once the algorithms start to understand basic human behavior. And for everybody who's afraid of maybe having their information out there, and, their posts, and, basically think of it this way. Every phone call you've ever made, every text message you've ever sent, every email you've ever sent, and every post you've made on social media is all sitting on a hard drive somewhere in a government warehouse on a server that connects it to you as an individual, or at least a household, from an IP address. This is pretty obvious, basic, knowledge. People deny it. They don't want to think about it, but it's true. Everything you've said has been saved by the NSA and other groups, probably. So, the fact that I've made as many videos as I have, and the topics I've discussed, I thought about this a while back. I thought, wow, in the future, and I've read 1984, and I remember the Minority Report and the idea of pre-crime, which is not just an illusion. They've used this shit in Florida and other places now, where they go to an area because the computer tells them that's where the crime's most likely to occur, and they end up arresting people that they shouldn't because they're afraid something's going to happen. It's like a crime is created through the idea that there might be a crime created. And it's nuts. But once they start, the AI gets good enough and the algorithm within it starts to understand people, which we're constantly contributing to that algorithm, it'll be able to scan my entire channel in a matter of seconds. A supercomputer could scan my whole channel like that as fast as YouTube can share the info and tie everything together, know exactly what the likelihood is for me to become an extremist or for me to lean this way or that way, what my lifespan might be. I mean, it's crazy shit if you think about it. You know, I'm not saying it would be accurate, but dude, it's getting there. It's getting pretty crazy. A lot of you saw that post I made the other day. I was using Midjourney, which is one of the new AI programs, and I also signed up for DALL-E 2, which is another AI program where you input a prompt of different words, like, I would like to see a Chihuahua wearing a bikini dancing on a cliff in the Azores. And it would show you that. They are that good. You would see a dog in a tutu or a bikini or whatever it might be, dancing on a cliff, probably on a shore somewhere, you know, cliffs. It's insane. It is so good at determining. Now, it doesn't mean it's conscious. It just means that it's good at doing its job. Well, it could just be just as easy. You know, you program in a crime that happened and you come up with the criminal most likely to, you know, to do it. And knowing how bad the justice system is already, using these stats might just totally break the system. I mean, the pre-crime thing and has already been a huge controversy, but I don't know how far it's going to go. I just wanted to put this out there. Those are my thoughts. The AI is getting out of hand. Pretty soon, people within 10 years, mark my words, within 10 years, maybe probably much less, somebody will be able to give a basic premise of a story to a computer as a prompt. Like, tell people about, you know, the Battle of 1812, right? And then an AI bot would create a video version of you, just like me right here. It would utilize all the previous versions it's seen of me on video to create a video where it basically scours the internet for information, puts together a coherent discussion about it, with my face behind it, with all my normal mannerisms, and that's that. It's a completely lazy system. I want to make this clear. This is where it's getting weird, because we don't have to put in as much effort anymore, you know, because people can use fancy graphics and banners. This is why YouTube is garbage now. There's no content. It's all just edits and clips and, you know, jump cuts. No offense to other creators, because there are some amazing, to the creators. I'm not a creator. I'm just a philosopher who uses YouTube. But a lot of the stuff, you got to admit, is pretty shallow and meaningless. And so, I don't know. I guess that the point to that is that even if AI creates something that's not quite up to par, isn't deep or really important, it won't matter, because people will watch it. And people are going to make millions off of this shit. Well, trillions. I should say quadrillions with inflation rates these days. So, yeah, I'm just curious to know what other people think about this. It's hard to kind of vocalize what I mean. Like, all of our lives are put on, you know, disc. I'm so glad to have grown up in a time when the internet wasn't a thing. I mean, I spent at least 2 decades with my life not recorded, you know, in every aspect and everything that happened. And there's still time to kind of pull away from it all, but I worry mostly about the kids of the future, not myself. I have nothing to hide. With my YouTube channel, I've basically exposed everything that I do in this world and everything I stand for. And, you know, you can't take that back. It is what it is. I don't care. I have nothing to hide. But if people do, they have the right to a little bit of protection, I can imagine. And, yeah, just a weird future. So, curious to know what you all think about it. Seems that it's a slippery slope. Bye.